South Goa, they use a type of mud that's supposed to be really good for your digestive system. Y'all, I swear it works. I was so constipated, I guess from the difference in food. We laid there on the floor for maybe half an hour, and I promise you, it worked. There was movement. This was our first day having sup yoga, except we thought it was about to rain because it was basically a hurricane outside with all this wind. And we hadn't seen rain our entire stay here, so it'd been 2.5 weeks so far. But if it did rain, it moved elsewhere, and we did indeed get to do sup, which was so fun. If you haven't heard of sup yoga before, it's basically stand-up paddleboard yoga. And it is so good for practicing your balance because obviously you're on the water and you could fall off. And I was determined not to fall off because I refused to get my hair wet again. My braids would have fallen out. So that evening there was a cultural parade, so we decided we would go out for dinner and also watch the parade. So it was on the way to our restaurant. So we actually walked by the parade before it started, and the floats were nothing like what I was expecting because we don't have floats like this at home at all. Oh, that's terrifying. So the floats had creatures like Indian gods and demons, which were important to their history and culture, and each float told a different story. Now, when they started, they were in Hindi, so of course I had no idea what was going on. But it was really amazing to see the work that goes into them, the craftsmanship, the details. They were amazing. I was just blown away. I never cared to understand Hindi until this day because they were telling the stories of each float. And I was so intrigued to know, well, who was the god, who was evil, who won the battle, what was the battle about? We eventually got to a restaurant called Coastal Palette. I had noodles. We ordered cauliflower for the table, garlic naan, cheese naan, and everything was delicious. And it was actually a really good spot too because straight out the window we could see the parade coming down the street. After we ate, we went further down the road and there was so much more going on. Didn't get the full story on this one, but I know it was representative of a battle. My roommate was Indian, but she wasn't familiar with the stories as these were from the south and she's from Delhi. But some fun facts that I did gather. Hindi is talked about being the official language of India, but the southerners don't really agree with that because most of them don't speak Hindi. The north is more metropolitan versus the south being more rural. The north and the south have their different languages, their different stories, and the cultures differ a little bit. It also seems that the southerners are a little more relaxed about yoga versus the north, where the north keeps it very traditional. And when I say the south is a little more relaxed, I mean they're a little more westernized because yoga was a spiritual practice for some, maybe not all anymore. Another fun fact, the power went out right here. I was like, damn, I'm just in a different version of Tortola because what is going on? And then we went back to our school, we got a taxi, and we headed to bed because it was a very late night and we had yet another early morning.